Today is April 26th. I just got my second COVID shot, and we have a new ban list. How exciting. So, let's check it out. To be implemented on May 10th. Is that after or before the KC Grand Tournament? So let's see. This will be in end of May or June. So this is before the tournament. So prepare in advance. The new bots has been leaked already. That's on the DLM website. It has Tenki, which is really cool. It has some other neat cards. But let's talk about the ban list that is in front of us. So right now the meta is Blue Eyes and Star Seraph, easily the two best sets of the format. And then we have Evil Eye, Cyber Dragons, and some other niche stuff taking up tier 3. There really isn't a good tier 2 deck that's worthy of competing with the tier 1 decks, but there are some competent meta strategies, so let's see how this ban list shakes things up. So we have Azure Eyes Silver Dragon and the Melody of the Awakening Dragon, which are 2 hits to Blue Eyes. Because of the importance of Azure Eyes, I can't see them cutting it. It's such a good target to float into with Spirit Dragon, so Melody is going to be the thing that is cut. This means that Blue Eyes can less consistently set up a alternative on the field, which means they can't get out a turn 1 Spirit Dragon as consistently as they used to, or get that turn 2 pop with an alternative dragon. Overall, it's not that big of a hit, but we'll see if there are any more hits to Blue Eyes as the list goes on. Storm to 1. This hurts a lot of decks, notably Evil Eye, which would use the Storm to pop their own cards, set up the grave with all sorts of Evil Eye effects, notably the Gordian Neo or something, and then banish that, discard an Evil Eye, search their Selene, get their plays going. Storm made the deck really consistent, and the fact that it could also pop your opponent's back row just made it so strong. Storm going to 1 means that Evil Eye will be less consistent. Other strategies that use Storm are also going to be hurt by this. It's not the biggest hit in the world, but it is impactful. Oh, and that's it for the limit 1s. Limit 2, we have Ascalon. That means that Senatus is definitely coming off, which means that Duel Links wants Dragoonies to have some power back, but they don't want them to run Hatronade. So Dragoonies still have to run as many Ascalons as they can, but the fact that they have access to 3 Senatus now is a really big boost to the deck in consistency. Cybernet Fusion support to 2. I predicted this as well. I was talking to some people about this. This means that Cyber Dragons cannot as consistently set up the turn 1 Proto Cyber Dragons on the field with Fusion Gate and continuously summon fusion monsters. They can't put out so much damage on turn 2. They can't set up the grave as easily for their trap card. In fact, they're going to have to cut one of the trap cards because Cybernet Fusion support is at 2. You're going to want to run both in Cyber Dragons. It's a big hit to the deck. I still think the deck is COD worthy, but it's unfortunate for Cyber Dragon players. Gaidada's sister. I wouldn't say Gaidada's automats are that good of a deck, but the fact that they can Hatronade you and blow you out with the amount of monsters they can get on the field meant that the deck could OTK really easily. With Automata play, the deck is also extremely consistent, being able to shuffle 2 of your automat cards to add 2 automat monsters from your deck to your hand, any 2 that you want. Star Seraph Sovereignty. Wow, this just came out recently too. I think it was the last main bots that we got this, or maybe 2 main bots ago. The stick and chair combo led to so much advantage and even a hand loop with Ouroboros that it was really out of control, especially with Darklords. It was even good in some other decks like Dark Magicians, which got a recent top in the MCS. Putting it to 2 means that they can less consistently set up that turn 1 Ouroboros. Let's see what's next. We have the Sanctified Darklord to 2. Oh wow, Darklords are dead. Darklords are dead. Now that Ixchel, Sanctified, and Contact are at limit 2, and by the rules of limit 2 you can only play 2 of them, you're gonna have to cut Ixchel, which means this deck loses a lot of draw power. Also, you can't run Stick and Chair anymore because the chair is at limit 2. Sanctified and all the other Dark Lord cards are at limit 2. They didn't have to do this to Dark Lords, in my opinion. I think the chair hit was enough. Limit to 3, Yellow Martin. Okay, I guess that means you can't run Veil anymore. Emerald Bird to limit 3 too. They really did it. They really put Emerald Bird and Martin to limit 3. I know that Tenki's coming out in the next bots, but this deck isn't going to be that good. The fact that this deck is going to lose access to some Martins or some Emerald Birds means that this deck loses a lot of draw power, a lot of its seed potential. Even with Tenki coming to the game, it's a net loss in my opinion for Lunalights. And then Cinetis, as I said, Cinetis had to come back if they were putting Astalon to limit 2, so Jaduni's got a little bump, it's nice. We'll see what skill changes they made next. So for the skill changes, we have Check Out My Fusion, which is a vehicle roid, no one cares. Pathway to Chaos, change one of the following monsters you control to the monster listed. If you are changing an effect monster, send one Karibo monster from your hand to your graveyard. And it does the Gaia the Fierce Knight to Blackluster Soldier, Blackluster Soldier to Super Soldier. It's a bad skill even with this change because you're using the little Blackluster monsters that give Blackluster Soldier these really strong effects to banish, attack twice, etc. So you are turning a vanilla monster into a monster with effects, even though not directly, and using that to turn into Super Soldier. Why would you do that? Super Soldier's bad. Super Soldier's terrible. Just give us Super Soldier already. It's not that good of a card. You don't have to hide it behind a skill. Next, we have the level changing skills, duplication, augmentation, and reduction. These all look just about the same except for the 3,000 or lower life point cost, and the effects only last the end of the turn for each of them. This means that you can't just put a Hang-On Moth on the field, raise its level by 8, and then sit on that while banishing all your opponent's cards for free that would otherwise go to the grave. Can't do that anymore. There's a cost, and it only lasts the end of the turn. I think it's a good change. I probably wouldn't have the 3,000 or lower life point restriction or requirement, however you want to put it. I think the fact that it only lasts until the end of the turn is enough. This hurts Thunder Dragons because they would set up a turn 2 rank 6 or rank 8, and they don't really run Cosmic to lower their life points artificially. So that indirectly got hit by this change. How unfortunate. Titan Showdown. Whichever player has double or more life points than the opponent takes double damage. That's the same. If you don't have a dinosaur monster on your field, your opponent does not take double damage. This skill is terrible. No one is going to, well, maybe some meme deck will, but Evil Eyes would use this skill, lower their life points through the equips, and then attack with Nightmare Shark for 4,000 damage for quick lethal. That strategy is dead. I don't think Evil Eyes are dead. I think the deck is still viable, at least at a road level, but I'm glad that Titan Showdown is dead. This cheese was dumb, and it really shouldn't have been in the game in the first place. And then lastly, we have Automatic Play, where you return an automatic card from your hand to your deck, and then add an automatic monster with a different name from your hand from the deck. The skill is once per turn and twice per duel. This is a really good change. Before, you would shuffle back 2 cards to add to, and that was way too much. The deck got way too consistent. Now it's 1 card per turn, which is fine. The deck has some consistency, but now it's twice per duel, which gives this deck somewhat of a grind game, at least a turn 2, turn 3 option. It's a good change. It makes the deck play a little differently. It weakens the deck definitely, but it's more fair to play against. No other deck had this level of consistency, especially built into a skill. This nerf was fine. It still doesn't have a cost, but this change is fair. It's fair. I like it. Overall, it's a decent list. I'm surprised certain things weren't hit. I'm surprised Blue Eyes was only hit so lightly and not the skill Ultimate Dragons or maybe Cards of Consonance that gave them so much draw power. Sage, which searches stone. It's fine. It's not the best list in the world. It shakes up the meta in that we lose a top tier deck, but we'll have to see what the next bots brings us, how that shakes up the meta on its own. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoy this kind of content, consider subscribing to the channel. If you have any comments or questions or thoughts on the ban list, feel free to leave them down below, and I'll see you in the next one.